guys, it's Adrian. Welcome back to my channel. First of all, I want to mention that I'm still in the same background as I was on Saturday. I really kind of think I like this background. Let me know what you think. But at any rate, for the next 2 or 3 videos I'll be here, and maybe I'll go back downstairs to my bookshelves. Maybe I won't. We'll see. Today I'm here to bring you the When I Was a Kid tag. I'm so excited about this tag because I'm a 90s kid and I loved the 90s. I was tagged to do this video by Megan from Roger Reads, and the original creator of the video is Renee Lytle, and I will leave both of their links down in the description box, so you should go check those out. Question number 1, movies you can quote or you have watched over and over again. There's this movie that is not very well known, and I think it's an independently made movie. It doesn't fall under like the major motion picture productions, but it's called Rigoletto, and it is the coolest movie ever.
He is different. Being different doesn't make you bad, does it?
This movie is kind of difficult for me to describe. I've tried a couple times and I'm just failing miserably, so I will leave a link to like the IMDb page so you can go check out what it's about for yourself. But this movie was heartbreaking. I sobbed during this movie and I never cry, and I'm afraid to watch it now as an adult because I still think that I'm gonna sob. It's a musical and it really started my love for musicals.
We've heard the tale since we were young, heard the songs that have been sung about an evil spell. Someone beautiful is cursed, we feel sad through every verse, till a kiss and all is well.
And that's where my passion for theater and musicals, I think, started back then. I really loved it. It is my favorite movie of all time, and it came out in 1993. Again, the best things are from the 90s, although I'm not from the 90s. I was actually born in the 80s, but I grew up in the 90s. Question number 2, first book or television OTP. I can't really remember my first book OTP, but my first television OTP was totally Spider-Man and Mary Jane. Do you guys remember the old 90s Spider-Man cartoon? I was never really a girly show, like I didn't watch My Little Ponies or anything like that. I watched the boy shows and the scientific shows because, oh guys, Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
But I'm getting distracted. My favorite OTP was Spider-Man and Mary Jane.
All this has made me realize just how precious you are to me.
I'm flattered, Spider-Man, but I'm already in love with a great guy, Peter Parker.
Mary Jane, there's something I've got to show you.
I always wanted them to end up together, and I thought it was so awful when Mary Jane disappeared and my heart broke and it was just terrible. Question number 3, TVs you weren't supposed to watch but you did anyway. This was kind of embarrassing, but there wasn't that many TV shows that I really wasn't allowed to watch. I suppose The Simpsons was one of them, but one of the ones that I wasn't allowed to watch were soap operas. So I used to go over to my Nana's house sometimes, or my aunt's house, and they would watch Days of Our Lives, and that show was so addicting as like a 10-year-old kid. I don't know what it was, but every time they would watch it, I would totally be invested in this story, and if my mom caught me, I would be in so much trouble. Sorry, Mom. Question number 4, favorite game. This one, I couldn't come up with just one, so I've got 3. I've got a board game, I've got a card game, and I've got a video game. For board games was Trouble. You remember that commercial? It's fun getting into trouble.
It's fun getting into trouble.
I have a brother and sister who are 7 and 8 years younger than me, so we used to play Trouble all the time because it was one that we could play together. For a card game, would have to be when I was a kid, Rummy 500. Again, my brother and sister were a lot younger than me, and I used to make them play Rummy 500 all the time. My brother used to hate me. I think he still doesn't like that game, but I used to make them play it all the time. Mostly because I was a lot older than they were and I was better at it, so I always won. And the third game, which I think has to be my favorite of all, was Super Mario Bros. 3 from the original Nintendo. And guys, my husband has a Raspberry Pi. For any of you guys who are like those nerdy people, it's just this little mini computer. And on that Raspberry Pi, he has found retro games, and Super Mario Bros. 3 is on there. So I have been playing Super Mario Bros. 3 for weeks now. Again, with this game, I used to be a real brat. I was a terrible older sister, but you know how Super Mario Brothers is a two-person game? If my brother and sister need to have a turn, I would just play for them and made them think that they were playing on their own, and I got caught once and got in so much trouble. Question number 5, were you an outside kid or an inside kid? I was totally an inside kid. I remember being in 5th grade and not wanting to go outside to play recess, so I would volunteer to wash cafeteria tables. I was awful. My mom used to have to kick me outside and lock the doors and wouldn't let me in for a few hours because I would refuse to go outside. I would either want to watch TV or read books. I didn't like the outside. It was boring. There was nothing to do. Until, of course, I got a little older and realized that I could take a book outside. And then I was okay. Question number 6. Favorite childhood pet? Or if you didn't have a pet, what kind of pet would you have liked to have? When I was thinking about this answer, I realized I had a lot of pet tragedies. I had some favorite childhood pets, but they all died one way or another. But I had 3. We had a lot of rodents in my house for pets. I have no idea why. But the first one was a hamster, and his name was Teddy, and he was so cute and fluffy. I loved him. I had him for a good 2 years. Until one year, we went on vacation to New Hampshire for Columbus Day, and when we came back, Teddy was dead. My mom didn't want me to see it. She got home before I did, because I had rode in the car with my cousins. And he was just gone, and I never got to say goodbye. And he was old, but it was so sad. The second hamster I had was a hamster named Sleepy, and he was also a boy. And my sister had her own little hamster. I don't remember her name. She was evil. That hamster was from the devil, I swear to God. But she had a hamster, a girl hamster, and Sleepy and the girl made little hamster babies. So we had to put Sleepy in a toy box, and we covered the toy box with a piece of cardboard so that he couldn't crawl out or anything. And one day, when I was sleeping, my sister and my brother decided that it would be fun to put the cardboard box on top of Sleepy and step on him and squish him like a pancake. After that, I decided I didn't want any more hamsters. So when I was about 10 or 12, we had a pair of rats. And I had a rat named Oreo, and he was the cutest little rat you ever did see. Now that I'm 32, I think rats are disgusting. But when I was 12, 13, I liked them. One day I came home and my mother said that my rat Oreo ate my sister's rat's head, so we threw Oreo in the dumpster. After that, I didn't really have any more childhood pets, but let's just say my children will never, ever, ever be having any rodents for pets. So those are my favorite pet crazy stories. Welcome to my childhood. Moving on to less morbid topics. Question number 7. What did you want to be when you grow up? I don't really know. When I was a kid, I kind of wanted to be something new every day. I think by the time I got to be a young teenager, like maybe 14, I really wanted to be a baker. And I never actually became a baker, although I do bake a lot and I like to make cakes for parties. Here are a few pictures, but I never actually became a baker, and that kind of makes me sad. I really wish I had done that. Question number 8. Favorite house that you've lived in and why? I didn't really live in that many different houses that I can remember. I know we moved a lot when I was a really young child, but when I was about 5, we moved into a house in Warwick, Rhode Island, and I don't really remember too much about the house specifically, except that it had a fireplace and Santa used to like to leave presents in the chimney. But my biggest reason that I love that house is because I went to a school called Christopher Rhodes, and I had the world's best kindergarten and first grade teacher. I had the same teacher for both years, and she made me feel so special. And so when I think about favorite places that I lived, it would be that house, because that teacher was the best teacher ever. Question number 9. Something you used to do that you would like to start doing again. Going to bed really early and waking up really late, because that was just fantastic. And not having to have any real responsibilities, so I can just read all day like I used to do when I was a kid. Why did I ever complain that I was bored when I was a kid? It's one of those things I'll never understand as an adult. Question number 10. A random memory that stuck in your head for God knows what reason. This one is kind of a special memory, not necessarily a random memory. I had a hard time with this one because I remember a lot, so there isn't just one thing that randomly stuck in my head. I can remember a good portion of my childhood. But my grandpa died when I was about 10 on my dad's side. And before he got really sick, we went shopping one day, and I don't ever really remember going shopping with my grandpa before that, although my mom tells me that I did. But this particular day I remember going to the supermarket and he bought me Pop-Tart minis. And that made me feel so special. I don't know why Pop-Tart minis made me feel special. I think it's just the combination of my grandpa really knowing me really well. And then really quickly after that we found out that he was sick with cancer. So I think it was one of the things that I really held on to as a childhood memory. And I loved my grandpa. He was awesome. Alright guys, that wraps it up for the When I Was a Kid tag. I'm gonna tag a few people. I had to think about this a lot because most of you are still kids. So I think I'm gonna tag Lisa from Brand New Book Smell and Krista from Books and Jams. And anybody else that was from the 90s. I mean, I know a lot of us were born before the 90s, but we were children in the 90s. Most of you were children in the 2000s, which makes me feel really old. But anyway, if you are a 90s kid, I want you to do this tag because I want to see, because I love the 90s. That's enough rambling for today. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you next time. Bye.